everyone, and welcome back to your favorite podcast, Spilling the Tea Leaves. My name is Michelle. I am a crystal Reiki master and teacher, and spiritual teacher, and nomad, and I'm all over the place. Welcome to Spilling the Tea Leaves. This is an independent podcast, so anything that you can do to share us will be greatly appreciated. Today, I have an extra special surprise. I have the wonderful Lelia here, and Lelia has been so kind and is willing to sit and talk to me. She is a spiritual leader for women in business. So I've spoken to her before. I picked her brain a little bit, and then I figured, why don't we just do a whole episode and we can talk to her and ask all the questions. So, Lelia, welcome.
Hi, Michelle, and I'm so happy to be here with you and share wisdom with you and with the people that are listening.
I am so excited that you're here. Can you share a little bit of what you do for those of you who are not familiar with you?
Yes, of course. So I am originally from Romania, and I'm currently living in Amsterdam. And in my work, my superpower is that I awake the conscious leader within each woman that I'm working with, so she can stop playing small in her business, release any imposter fears that she has, and instead be able to quantum leap within herself, so she can then quantum leap her business and create a movement through the work that she's meant to do in this world, and that is truly hers.
That's a lot. So what kind of, you deal directly with just women, correct?
Yes. I work only with women, with business women. And I work with women that already have their business at a certain level. So not with people that just start up. And they kind of like read the books of personal development, went to 1, 2, 3 events, and they want to implement. They're at the stage of, I want to go and transform.
Okay, so for example, I am a woman in business, I feel like. So I would approach you and tell you, hey, I feel like I'm having blockages, or what can I do to get to the next level? You just help and guide the person into that place that they choose or want to be, correct?
Yes, I am. Actually, what I mean by saying that I awake the conscious leader is that I establish that deep connection within you. So within the woman that I'm working with, I am taking her and I'm placing her in the middle of her energy, in the middle of her potential. And usually what I do in the first session is that I'm reading their energy field, and I can see the blockages that are related to the issue that they are telling me.
Okay.
And that will be like the map for me to navigate through all the rest of the sessions.
So it's very individualized. It's not like it's just, hey, this is my program, step 1, 2, 3, and we're going to get you to the other side. It's very energy based.
It's very energy based, and it has, but it's also not the woo-woo style.
I like woo-woo. There's nothing wrong with woo-woo.
Yeah, but I to bring transformation, it's gotta be grounded. It's gonna be a bit deeper, to say so.
Okay. And how did you get started? Like, what's your backstory? Because this is really interesting. I've met other life coaches or coaches, and especially, Lelia, I think I found you in the women's group and on Facebook, the women's entrepreneur group. Is that correct?
Yes, I think you found me in the spiritual.
The spiritual one. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. So there is another one, for example. I don't want to say the name because I'm not shaming, but there are a very large number of would you, I guess, coaches? Is that the correct word? Was that a way to describe what you do? I mean, not coach in a traditional sense, but yeah, you're sort of shepherding women into their full potential, right? But I've seen a lot, and they have a very formulaic way of dealing with people, but you've kind of found another way to have women reach their potential. How did you get started? Like what triggered that?
Well, I think we all, and I wish that when we choose a mentor for us, I wish us that we will first um, connect with somebody that already experienced. So
Mm-hmm.
you are your first client, to say so. You start to experience, you bring the experience in your life, you live it through your body, and then it's easy to guide other people. And that's what happened for me too. So I did the coaching academy, and I got um, the knowledge through a lot of courses that I also did.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working at a mental level with my clients. And last year in September, I also chose, like, I was a mindset coach before, and it was a decision that I made based on yeah, I like the name and I like the things about the mindset because I
Yeah, that
worked on the
sounds like a
mindset.
fun name.
Yeah, and I was like, I like this name. It has I don't know, a part of me resonated, but I didn't look deeper. And then last year I had a launch in August, and I was at the point of almost burning out because I was feeling like there was not an alignment inside of me. There was not like something that would fire me up, like would lit
Yeah.
me up, like, oh, I love doing this.
Yeah.
And that was a point for me to take a step back and reconsider, like, hey, what do I actually want to do? And in that period I was of course I hired a coach, a high-end coach, to work with me, and one more spiritual mentor.
Mm-hmm.
And being guided by them, I realized that I never actually stopped to ask myself what I'm meant to do in the business. And that's when I took that break. That was the moment when I started to receive and be guided and receive guidance from the universe that I was meant to be much more spiritual than I initially thought, that my business was actually supposed to be around
I
spirituality.
love it. Yes.
Yes. And I started to experience energy. So I got an activation which came through a dream. I had a very powerful dream,
Uh-huh.
and I received like an activation in that dream.
Okay.
And after that dream, I went to give a Reiki treatment without any kind of expectations. So it was just more for pleasure.
Yeah.
And during that Reiki treatment, I started to feel the energy of the body, but I started to receive messages from the chakras of the person that I was giving the treatment.
That's amazing.
And that never happened before. So at the beginning, I was like,
It's
uh,
it's scary in the first time. You're just like, what is happening right now?
yeah, I was scared, and I was not prepared. So that was the very first time when I understood that I can work with energy and transmit the messages from somebody's body. Because many times people come and they say, oh, I have this problem. Like, I want to work on my money mindset. Like, I'm hitting the money plateau. No matter how much I do, there's always the same amount of money that I am earning. And why is this happening? And they think they have money blockages.
Yeah.
And when I do the first reading, I actually see the main energy blockages, the big
Yeah.
ones that are creating what they think is the problem. But actually, that's just the effect, is not the cause. And
It's a symptom of the problem.
exactly,
Mm-hmm.
exactly.
Okay.
And honestly, that shifted my way of working, because when I started to incorporate this aspect of energy, like to feel the energy, to be able to, like, I fully trust the messages that I receive from them. I fully trust the invisible, to say so. So they might say my problem is the money, but I fully trust what their energy field says is actually priority to work on. And I've noticed that when I incorporate this energy work, the results for the people that I'm working with started to happen very fast, much faster than before. So if it would take me before maybe 3 months to shift something, now it takes me like few sessions to really move the energy, and they already start to see results and changes.
Now, do you move the energy, or do you offer advice on how the client can remove the blockages themselves?
No, so my sessions are all practical, so we do it together.
Okay.
I guide them because I am like an open channel, and the message and the energy comes through me, and I kind of amplify that energy so they can make the shift.
Okay.
And this is in the sessions when I have when I work with energy, but I also use a lot EFT, and those sessions they can redo themselves in their own time, the meditations.
Can you tell us a little bit about EFT? Because not a lot of people in my audience are familiar with that.
EFT, it's emotional freedom technique. So it's a tapping technique. You are tapping with your fingers on different energetic centers of your body.
Okay.
And you are addressing the problem that you have. Maybe something is very sensitive for you and you have certain reactions in the body, like just speaking about it. Maybe you feel like a fire burning in your stomach, or you cannot breathe, or you start sweating just about thinking about certain things. And with EFT you can address that, but the fact that you are tapping on those points, it sends like a signal to your brain to relax while you're talking about the problem. So a little bit it's breaking the pattern, because you don't allow it to just stay in that reaction that the body initially has. And it brings relaxation. So this is how you interrupt the initial pattern. And normally I don't think it matters so much to understand. Like usually I don't start to explain to people exactly the techniques, how they work. Because I think what it matters is to fully trust the other person, to experience it and see it for yourself. Yes, it really works.
I I understand what you're saying. I do like to explain, just because a lot of the podcast is it's just to understand. There's a lot of techniques and a lot of energy healing work, and not everybody's familiar with the term or the acronym EFT. Now, one of the things that we talked about before was the difference between feminine energy and masculine energy, and especially in business. And full disclosure, today I did have lunch with a friend here, and we were talking about this very particular topic. Now, you feel that when women tap into that feminine energy, that they are better able to, I guess, run their business in a more uplifting manner, or in a manner where it's not draining us. Is that correct?
Yes, definitely.
What advice, or what can you share regarding that idea behind feminine versus masculine energy in business?
Yes, so I think both of them are important as long as they are balanced.
Okay, good. Yes, absolutely.
We need to explain a little bit in how it works in business. You are in the masculine, where you are in that taking action. When you want to take action, when you are planning, when you're like doing exactly the things that you need to do, like writing an email, or you know that you want to have a client and you know that there are certain steps that will take you to that client, and doing those steps, that is masculine energy, this action. But the energy that at least this is how I like to observe it for me, and I like to explain it to my clients as well, is that the energy behind that action, that is feminine in order to enjoy it. Meaning that when you take action, if you are in this, I need this client. I'm gonna chase client everywhere. I need to get more clients so that I can expand. I need to convince people about my abilities. That is unbalanced masculine.
Okay.
And the opposite is this woman. We are the human beings. Each of us have both of them by nature. No matter if you're a man or a woman, you have both of them inside of you. But as a woman, it is naturally for you to be in your feminine. And we forget about this. We are so good in doing that with our family because we care for the people that we love, with children, with our parents. We are very feminine in that sense. And yet we completely forget about it when we go in the business. I see so many women driven by that masculine, like pushy and convincing. And actually their power is this feminine magnetism, because a woman is magnetic even in her business when she is connected inside of her with her natural energy, natural feminine energy, and she knows herself so well that she's certain about her values, about what she can do. She's certain about her gifts. There is no need to convince, just to show up and express what is already inside. And I think the first step is to really, really get to know yourself. What are your core values? What is your uniqueness? Like everybody's talking about uniqueness, and yet so little person, like a few people really know their uniqueness, their gifts, the things that come natural to them to express them. And by knowing themselves, by knowing deeply, like what are their values, they're unique, that allows them to show up and trust themselves, trust their own guidance, trust their own power. And when they trust themselves, they transmit this confidence also at an energetic level. And people feel it. You don't need to convince, because you stand energetically behind the message that you're transmitting. So I think it's important to connect inside and really, really know yourself and trust that there is a natural feminine energy inside of you, that if you tap into it and you use it in your business, you literally become magnetic.
So what do you suggest, for example, especially in business now, it's very patriarchal, it's very masculine, it's very driven. What do you suggest for a person who wants to tap into that feminine energy in an environment that is so driven and result driven, sales driven, where if you're not getting the numbers, well, it might sound nice to say, hey, I'm just going to attract the energy. For some, it doesn't feel that you might get results in the long run, but immediately it might not feel that way. What do you suggest to those people who are just like, listen, this might work maybe for somebody who is in their own business where they have the luxury to maybe slow down a bit or wait to attract the right clients, but what about somebody who's in a business world in a larger company?
I think the first step starts with you being able to open up that is not the only way to succeed. That even when you see other people doing it, it doesn't mean that that's the only way. And it starts with you trusting that there must be a different way and that is possible. And then try to find examples that show you that it is possible. And try to understand, okay, this is the reality. So if they live that reality, then I can also create the same reality for myself. I think that we are so conditioned to believe that this is the only way to have success, to like
It's
sweat
true
and
though. Yeah, I'm only playing devil's advocate, just in case anybody asks this question, because it is very that this is the way that we have been taught even in college. And if anybody's ever taken a business course, it's that's what it is. It's a results driven, it's numbers, it's all these things. It's not a you're going to attract the energy that you want. It's just it's very factual. You know what I mean? So it's for a lot of people it's really difficult to make that leap. I'm not saying I'm one of those people at all. I'm just making sure that I cover all our bases for those that are questioning how you get to a how you shift from a masculine dominated energy into a more feminine energy.
Well, I think it's also like this idea that I can only get results in the masculine and not in the feminine. Like I think
Mhm.
we can get to the results either way. So you
Yeah.
can get to the results being stressed all day and like working 24/7, and you can
Burning
also get
yourself
to the
out. Yes.
yes, and you can get to those results feeling better in the process. I think the results, they are achievable. You can do them, but so many times we don't pay attention in the process. And two things that I notice with women when they come at the beginning to work with me, two things that are keep on repeating like
We love a
patterns,
pattern.
of course. First of all, they are almost never able to rest, to fully disconnect from work,
Mhm.
to take like a proper break. And there is so much power. I just wrote a chapter in a book that I'm co-authoring with more authors.
That's
And
right.
my
I was
chapter,
going to mention that too. I actually have that in my notes. I'm so happy you touched on it.
yes, and in that chapter, I actually wrote about the power of being, the power of taking a rest. Like people underestimate this. And
Yes,
even
we
for
do.
yourself, I would love to invite you now to think about maybe when you had a stressful situation and you decided, you know what, I'm going to take 2 days and I'm going to go and enjoy a weekend. Or I don't know, you stopped and you spent time for with your children or with your husband, or you went outside. And in that moment of total disconnection, when you are not looking for the solution, an idea comes and, oh, I could do that. Oh my God, I didn't think about it before.
That sounds so frustrating. Just to overshare. That sounds really frustrating to me because, yes, when I do have those down times, especially right before I go to sleep or right before I'm about to wake up, I get all these ideas just flood into my head, and then I can't get to my computer fast enough to write them down. So it's very relaxing when I get the ideas. I'm like, oh no, I have to write everything down or else I'm just gonna forget it. I need to run to my computer right away.
Oh, but you have like you can write it down on a paper, or you have the mobile phones with us. I always put in notes ideas.
Hmm.
Um, but most of all, I think when a solution comes to you, if you can put like a mental image, like to create an image of the words that are coming up, then the brain remembers the image faster.
Ooh, that's a good
Uh,
tip. Okay,
so
I
you can
like it.
remember them.
Okay.
Um,
So I had spoken to Lelia before, like I mentioned earlier, and she gave me the very good advice of just stopping because for me, and I'm sure for many other people out there as well, it's very difficult for me to stop. If I'm at home, I am in front of my computer and I am working and I'm trying to get something done because I always feel that almost sense of urgency. And this is a total personal problem. I'm not saying anything else, but she did give me the advice of just stop. Just you can enjoy your break and find the benefits in taking that break. If you're spending time with your children, look at it as quality time or with your partner. Um, but and finding the value in that downtime and what it provides for you. So thank you very much for that advice because I have been taking it to heart. Like I said today, I went out and had some lunch with a friend. I was there for like 2 hours and it was extremely invigorating for me. And then we did a little bit of uh of shopping, which
oh,
is
that's also good.
which is so nice here. I was like, oh, it's COVID. I just anyway, so yes, I do feel that It's a technique that's not actively preached. What
No,
it
no.
it's difficult. What do you suggest for those who are trying to connect to feminine energy can do on their own time? So something like meditation, or what is it that we can do so we can not only apply it to our business or our work life, but to our regular life as well?
Yes, so I want to remind women that feminine energy is inside of them. And
Mhm.
to connect with it, you just have to be aware of what brings you joy. That's your
I love
feminine
it.
energy.
Yes.
What brings you pleasure? Do you like running? Do you like
No.
listening to a song? Do you like? I love jumping on the trampoline, for
I love
example.
that. Like, okay, that's so cute.
So that immediate, like there are not something difficult, or I don't know how many steps to follow to start already to feel more of this energy.
Mhm.
And it's important to acknowledge it and ask yourself, how can I bring the same energy in my business? And I mentioned before, there were two things that I wanted to say. And the second one is also that I've noticed that women are not very used to accept support, accept support in their work. They are
Mhm.
very used to care for others, to support other people, do things for others. But when it comes to a woman accepting support to make things easier for her, she's not so easily open to that support. You might say like, oh, but I would love to be helped on this. But when the moment arrives to actually let go to certain tasks that you are doing, they tend to micromanage. They tend to not fully give away certain things. And that's why they also end up being very busy and kind of charged. And when you allow yourself to receive that support, you actually feel the joy of receiving, and like feeling the joy of making things easier for you, that you don't have to struggle. You maybe create more time to do something that you actually love doing, instead of keeping all the things
I feel like you're
under your
talking to
control.
me because that is a big problem. That's an issue for me where it's difficult for me to accept help, and I'm just like I
Mm,
can just do it myself. I can do it myself. And I think part of the problem is some say it might be control. I don't necessarily think that. I think it's uh, relying on somebody else and the possibility of it not coming out the way that I might want, or having the other
yeah.
person not do it at all. Almost like a failure type of thing. So it's I hear what you're saying, and I from the other side of it, I can see why it's difficult for us to kind of let that power go a little bit. And yes, we are used to taking care of people and helping, and just kind of doing it all ourselves. We're supposed to be super women. We're supposed to do everything ourselves and keep a smile on our face and a full face of makeup. If we do what society tells us, of course.
Yeah, and imagine how liberating it is when you're actually, you are so confident and so connected with who you are, that you just show up as who you are, and
Mhm.
you connect with people, be it clients, partners, even in friendships in your personal life, that resonate with the real you. And in the end, you will not have to do the work of keeping the masks in front of anyone else, because you already showed up as who you are. You
Mhm.
are already in your power. It is scary at the beginning, but ultimately it gives you such a huge freedom, and it brings easiness. It Relationships in business, in life, they were meant to be easy, and all it takes for us is to stay in that, in our magnetism,
I
in
love
our
it.
feminine.
I love this. This is fantastic. So it's a It's getting over our own fears. If to sum it up, it's getting over our own fears and tapping into what we already possess, correct?
Exactly.
And
Yes.
just being authentic and real and true to who we are and what our passions are.
Yes, and be open to really believe that there is another way, that there is possible to have success in another way.
Yeah, and again, I'm doing this from the other side where I'm like, oh, that's kind of it is scary. It is scary to when you're so used to doing something one way and then somebody comes along and says, "Hey, guess what? You don't actually have to do this like this all the time. There is an easier way." And you're just like, "No, but this is the way that I've always done it."
It
Leila,
is scary
it is
because
scary.
you're letting go of a part of yourself.
Yes.
It's not just about, oh, it's wrong, and then I learn how to do it. And this is why I always guide with a lot of kindness the people, because I also experienced it, and I know that it literally feels you're losing a part of yourself, even if it's something that it doesn't serve you anymore. It could be a better way. You that ultimately the way that you are starting to the path you're starting to go on to is gonna give you better results.
Mm-hmm.
You still feel like, I have to say goodbye to this version that brought me until here, and you're kind of like not really sure. You don't know the new version. You don't
Yeah.
know if you can fully trust it. So I definitely understand, and I think it's important to remind ourselves like we are in a process, and I have to treat myself with kindness and with love.
I love it. Leila, we're going to start wrapping this up. Is there actually no, I want to talk about your book.
Oh yes.
What is it on? When is it coming out? And where can we get it?
Yeah, so it will be published on Amazon. It's
Mm-hmm.
multi-authored book. So I'm writing it together with other beautiful souls, and it's
Mm-hmm.
called the Soul Mission.
I like that. Okay, awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
And I wrote a chapter about the value of being. I share there my story, my experience, how I found value in the being.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it's coming out in May or June. So we didn't really pick the final date, but it's gonna be June or May. So pretty soon.
That is fantastic. And then finally, Lelia, where can we find you if you're interested in having a consultation with you or just learning more? Where can my audience find you?
Yes, so I would love to connect with whoever is interested on Instagram, and yeah, I look forward. I still have some spots available for my one-on-one coaching, and this is something that you're feeling called to, then I can't wait to connect with you.
Yay, fantastic. Lelia, thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day to just answer some questions and give us another perspective on business and spirituality in business because it is a real thing and there are people trying to align themselves to their highest good. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Michelle, for having me. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you. And thank you so much, everybody, for listening. Again, this is Spilling the Tea Leaves. My name is Michelle. You can find me online on Instagram at Remember Love. You can also find me on the internet at rememberlovehealing.com. And if you're interested in joining our community, you can join over on Facebook. It is facebook.com/groups. And our name is Remember Love Community. Thank you so much for listening, and I'll see you next time. Bye.